G we did all of G?
Yeah.
You think so? Okay, then H, so. Yeah. Yeah, H we haven't done. Okay, so we're going to have a look at H. Okay, so what do we need to see in H then? What's that in H? You reckon 7? Yes, 7 we haven't seen. Okay, so we have a line. Let me draw it here. I'll just, I'd say it's going down. And this line is 5x plus 12y minus 4 equals 0. And we have a point here, the point 1, 1. And they ask us for this shortest distance here, which I'll call D. Now, unfortunately, the only way to do this is by using a formula which you haven't seen, because it's not in, I don't think it's in your maths class. So I have to give you the formula. So what we do is we call this A, this 12 is B, this minus 4 is C, and then we call this x0, y0. And the D is absolute value of ax0 plus by0 plus c over square root a squared plus b squared. So for this example, it would be 5 times 1 plus 12 times 1 minus 4 over square root 5 squared, which is 25, plus 12 squared. So that will be absolute of 17 minus 4, 13, isn't it? 13 over root 169, which is 13 over 13, which is 1. Is that one of the answers? Yeah. Yeah. So, unfortunately, there's a formula you need to know for this one. I don't think there's any other way to do it.
How about if you fix the D to be the line which is perpendicular to that line, in other words, then find the point at which they meet and find the distance between the points.
Yeah, you could find the equation of the line D, intersection, and then distance between the points. Seems like an awful lot of work though, but it should give you the same answer. I wonder... Yeah, I can't think of any other way. I mean, any other quick way. Yeah? Question? No. Yeah. Okay. Write that down. Be careful. Make sure you copy the formula correctly. This is new. And tell me what we'll have a look at next then. Which one next? So. Five's a good one, yeah. Do you do Venn diagrams in math class? You do? Yeah. So I think that's what's happening here. So you have dogs, cats. 25% of people have a dog. 20% of people have a cat. And 5% of people have both. So, if 25% of people have a dog, this has to be 20. And if 20% of people have a cat, this one has to be 15. Now what's that? So here has to be 60. And the question is, how many people have either a dog or a cat? So what part of the diagram is either having a dog or a cat? No, that's not either, that's either. This is either D or C. Is this a word you use in the AP, either? Either, neither, neither, depends which way you want to say it. Yeah, so either D or C. So that would be 40%, which is answer A.
Could you do 2, please?
Number 2, sure. Yeah, number 2. I'll open my calculator for this. I got it working. Okay, so number 2. Is my calculator open? Not yet. Can I scroll down? Do you have this? Yeah? Okay. Tell me, did you do questions like this in your maths class? Yeah? With the Venn diagrams, I mean? Yeah. Okay. So, simplify 1 minus cos 2x plus 2 cos squared x. So let's choose x equals 5. So let's get 1 minus cos 10 plus 2 cos 5 squared. Let's just see what this is. 1 minus cos 10 plus 2 cos 5 squared. So I get 2.
That's what I got for the on assignment.
Is it? I wonder if that's my mistake. Now, what I need to check though, what happens if I put 5 into each of my answers? So my answer A is 2, B is cos 5, C is sine 5, D is sine 10, and E is none of these. Okay, so let's just check. Well, this one could be the answer. Let's just check cos 5. Cos 5. No, it's not that. Sine 5? No. So if I said the answer is sine, that's wrong. Yes. Huh? Are you saying you read the wrong answer at the back? Yes. Yes. The answer is correct at 2. Okay. What's next now? 8? Yeah. Okay. So here, I want this to have a solution. So if I have x squared plus bx plus 15 equals 0, and it has to have a solution, then the discriminant must be positive, which means b squared minus 4ac must be positive, which means b squared minus 60 must be positive. Yeah? So this has 2 solutions, minus root 60 and plus root 60. And do I want above or below if it's more than? Above. So I need b to be smaller than, what's minus root 60 please? And b to be bigger than as a decimal?
Minus 2, 1 decimal.
Yeah.
Minus 7.75.
minus 7 point, and here B must be bigger than 7.75. Yeah? So, I actually don't see any of these answers, because what I'm saying is the answer is, if B has to be smaller than minus 7.75, that's like minus 8, minus 9, minus 10 over here, and then etc. And B bigger than 7, that's like 8, 9, 10, etc. So is any of those the answers? It should be none of these, which is the answer. Yeah, none of these answers match this. Yeah.
About the question I asked you earlier, the costing, if you go to sample test B, they have the same question, but the answer is just sign it.
Sample test B?
Yeah.
Interesting. Question 5. I fixed that. That was noticed in the first lesson. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I fixed that. You're right. The answer was, I think, was wrong. It should be the fifth answer, which is number 2. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
question 7 is the same as this one?
Which test am I looking at?
The same thing.
Sample test B. Okay. Question 7. Yes, it is. Well, no, it's nearly the same. The question is, how many answers are there? Oh no, actually, number 7. No, that's a different question. Do you want me to do that one? Yeah. So if you want, this is now test A, question 7. You have x squared plus bx minus 15. So the question is, what are the different values of b? How many are there? So that this equation has integer solutions. So if you think about it, the solutions are x equals minus b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So that's minus b plus or minus square root b squared plus 60 all over 2. Yeah? Now really, the only problem is here. We can't have something like square root 2, because that's not an integer. You know, by integer I mean a whole number. But we could have something like square root 4. Why is that okay? It's a 2 then, yeah. So we need to check what values of b are good here. So we have b squared plus 60. Let's make a table. Okay. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I don't want to go that far. Go to 12. See what happens. Okay. So if I have 0 or plus or minus 0, because it actually, you're squaring, so it doesn't matter. Will that give me integer or non-integer if I square root here? No. 1? No. 2? Yes. 3? No. 4? No. 5? No. 6? No. 7? No, it's getting harder now. No. 8? No. 9? 141? No. 10? No. 11? I don't think 11. Huh? No. I've lost track. Where am I? 12, 144, 204. No. 13? You realise there must be some easier way to check this. So, what I'm going to do is take out my calculator and make a table. So watch carefully. Mode table, square root, alpha x squared, that's like the b, plus 60. Start, now, I don't really need to start at 0, 1 or 2, but I'll just put it in. Let's start at 0. Let's go to 20, if I can. No, I have insufficient memory, too big. Let's try again. Start at 0, go to 15. Okay. No, no, yes. No, 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 yes, at 15. B could equal plus or minus 2. B could equal plus or minus 15. Okay, let's see if we can do any more. How do I clear this? Okay. Let's start at 15 and go to 30. No, 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 dun, 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 no. Okay, so I think I've only managed to find 4 possible B's that would work. 15 would work. 2 would work. So is the answer 4, which is answer number 3 and 7? Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a messy question because there's no way to do it other than by checking. Because you're trying to figure out how could I get square numbers here. So you just have to check. But the good news is you actually have this mode on your calculator, don't forget. So you can actually make the table instantly. Yeah? Okay, what's next now? The same paper, 8. Good, yeah, okay, we can practice this. Okay, can I scroll down? Yeah. Did I show you how to find the center and the radius of a circle? I think I did. What technique do we use here? Completing the square. So what you do is you write this as x squared minus 6x plus 0 plus y squared minus 10y plus 0 equals minus 9. Now, complete the square here. What do we get? X minus squared minus 9. And then complete the square here. What do we get? Y minus 5 squared minus 25 equals minus 9. So you have x minus 3 squared plus y minus 5 squared equals 25, which equals 5 squared. That's what I want. This here is what the radius is. So if you have the radius as 5, then the area is pi r squared, which is 25 pi, which is 25 times 3.14, which is 78.5. And of course they said cycle instead of circle. Okay, what's next now? Yeah, which sample? G. G. Which question? 8? Right. Ah, yeah. Which of the following could also be hyperparabolic? Okay. Oh, it's okay. Hmm. Yeah, that's a bit tricky, isn't it? 6. G6. X, Y. And you have here y equals 10x, which is a graph that looks like this. And then you have y equal... Yeah, the other graph is a bit harder to see. Log x equals y log 10. So that's y equals log x over log 10. Before I draw the second graph, let me just mark in this point on the first graph. What is this point here? When x is 0, what's y in this one? 1, yeah, okay, very good. And then here, could we even have an x is 0? We couldn't, could we? Because you can't have log of 0. In fact, what happens in the graph is it looks like this. So you can kind of imagine that you have something that looks like this, roughly. And they want what is the line of symmetry, which is going to be this line here. Yeah? Now, I know what this line is. It should be y equals x. But how did I know that? Do you do... See, I think you don't. Do you do functions and mappings in semester 2? No. So let me just give you a very important property here. Y... Oh, sorry. Well, I'll write it up here. Fx equals 10 power x. That's the first one. Let's call the other one gx. That's equal to log x over log 10. But if you look at that, that's actually log base 10 of x. Because this is actually the change of base rule where this was the original question. This is like somebody changed the base from a 10 to an e. Now that's actually very important to see, because the relationship between this function and this function is that one is the inverse of the other. An example in maths of this relationship is x squared and square root x. The relationship here is one is the inverse of the other. Or you could have sine x and sine inverse x. The relationship is inverse. Or what about 2x and a half x? In this one you multiply by 2, and in this one you divide by 2. The relationship is inverse.
So, like if we multiply, then it's not equal.
Yes. Now, the word isn't multiply because you haven't learnt this word. The word is actually compose, but I know what you mean when you say multiply, if you put them together. Now, the reason that's important is because when you graph a function and its inverse, there's actually a mirror in the picture. So, for example, if I graph ex and log x, there's a 45-degree line that makes it a mirror. Or suppose I graph something like sine x and sine inverse. Again, there's like a 45-degree line image, like a mirror. Even take the example. Here is 2x and here is a half x. And if I draw a 45-degree line, I can see that there's a mirror, the symmetry line between them at 45 degrees. So because of that, I know that this line is also 45 degrees, and the equation of a 45-degree line is simply the equation y equals x. Now that's tricky, because it was testing your knowledge of graphs in a very, very deep way, and you don't actually study this. Yeah, there's nothing else to say. I don't even... Really, if this question was to come up again, and they did something similar where one function is the inverse of the other, then the answer has to be y equals x every time. The only other symmetry questions they could ask are obvious symmetry questions, like for example here. Imagine I have a graph like this. Where's the line of symmetry? Where's the line that makes a mirror? The y-axis. Or if I have a graph like this, or something, it's the x-axis, you know. So really, there's only ever going to be three choices. The y-axis, the x-axis, or the 45-degree line. So even if I didn't look at the question, the only answer I could possibly guess in this case is A. Okay, what do we want next? Next paper? You're good?
Question 7.
In which paper?
I.
Or?
I.
Okay. Didn't think there was an or. Question 7. Yeah. Let's zoom in. Okay. So what have we got here? You've got the line y equals x plus 1. Now, if we look at this line, if x equals 0, what does y equal? 1. So that is here at 1. And then if y equals 0, x equals minus 1. Yeah? So there's my first line. Okay. The next one, what's the next one? Y equals 2x plus 1. So if x equals 0, y equals 1, which is here. And then if y equals 0, x equals minus a half, isn't it? So that is here. Okay. And they would like this angle. So let's see what angles we could work out. Here comes more people possibly. No. Let's see how we could work this angle out here. So this one here is helpful because this side is 1 and this side is 1. So could I know this angle? Yeah, it's 45. Yeah, so I know this angle. Right. Let me just zoom in a bit here. Remember, tan inverse 1 over 1. I need this angle, which means I need this angle, which means I need this angle and this angle. So I've just worked out that that one is 45. Now, this angle here, on this triangle, how big is this height? It's 1. And how big is the base? A half. What is tan inverse 1 over 0.5? So, what's that? It's like 60 something, isn't it? 63.4. Okay. So if I know this angle, oh good, okay. This is 45 and this is 45. If I know this angle, I can know this angle, which means I can know this angle, which means I know this angle. Okay, so doing that, let's see. 45 minus 90 minus 63.4. This part here is this angle. Because if that's 63, this one is 90 minus 63. And this is 45, so this one here is 45 minus that one there. So what is this if you hit this in? 18? 18.4. Oh, but you have to match them up with the answers. Because the answers are like tan inverse 1, tan inverse a half, tan inverse. Okay, so is that going to be, this looks like it could be tan inverse, which one? 1 over 3, is it? Well, actually, there's an easy way to check. If you just type in tan of 18.4, you get 1 over 3. So this is tan inverse 1 over 3. Okay. You were asking me this. Is this okay? Or it's a little bit of trigonometry, really. Okay, what's next now? Same paper? Number 3. Okay, can I scroll down? Yep. The intensity of light measured in watts per meter squared penetrating a barrier of thickness D is given by the formula I equals I0 E minus 10D. What value of D will the intensity be 25% less than the intensity of I0? In other words, the question is, find D if I equals what? It says, find D if the intensity is 25% less than the intensity of I0. Yes, 0.75 I0. That's 25% less than I0. 3/4 of I0 is 25% less. So we have to plop that back in. 0.75 I0 equals I0 E minus 10D. Okay, so what should I do first? I should definitely get rid of those I's. And next, how do I get rid of an E? Log. And then, how do I get rid of the minus 10? Divide by minus 10. So the answer is D equals log 3/4 over minus 10. Now we need to clean this up, because I don't think that's any of the answers, is it? Well, firstly the minus. Think about it like this. This is minus 1 times 1 over 10 times log 3 over 4. And what are we allowed to do with these coefficients when we have logs? We can bring them up to the power. I'll bring the minus 1 up, and it'll be 1/10 log 4 over 3, which is answer A. Yeah? Okay, what's next now? Where is everybody else? Oh, there's some chemistry thing on, isn't there? No? Okay. What's next now? 8. I like it. Okay. So, sine 10, cos 10, cotan. Cotan is 1 over tan. I've used x equals 5, my favourite. So let's hit that in on the calculator. Sine 10, cos 10, 1 over tan 10 degrees. So I'm looking for an answer that can give me 0.03 when x is... Nope, wrong. Sorry. 5, isn't it? I'm using 5. I'm looking for an answer that can give me 0.0149. Let's see which one matches that. Okay. 0.0149. Can someone just write that down so well, I'll write it here actually. What am I doing? 0.0149. Alright, so let's see. Sine 5. Could it be the first answer? No, okay. Next, sine 5, sine 15 minus sine squared, sine 5 all squared. Bingo, it's the second answer, B. Yeah. 4 and 6 in this paper. 4 and 6, okay. 4. What is the equation of the tangent at the circle, to the circle at the point 4, 2? What's the equation of a line? You know it's y equals mx plus c. Now, how do you find the slope of a tangent? What is it? Derivative, yeah. Stop. So, the derivative here is 2x minus 2 plus 2y dy dx minus 4 dy dx equals 0, implicit derivatives. If I solve this, I get dy dx equals 2 minus 2x over 2y minus 4, which is 1 minus x over y minus 2. But I actually know what the x and the y is. What's the x? X is 4 and the y is... Now that's quite interesting because that has given me an error because I'm dividing by 0. So what type of line is this where you have infinite slope? It's a vertical line. This only happens when you have a vertical line. So I know that my answer must be a vertical. The graph actually looks like this. The tangent is right here at the point 4, 2. So the equation of this line is x equals 4. This is the equation of a vertical line. I think this is like question 9, page 3 of your workbook. There's something like this on it. Yeah?
Can't it be a horizontal line?
No, because I should have gotten 0 for the slope then. It's the fact that the slope is undefined here convinces me it's a vertical line. Is that an answer even? Yeah. And you said 6? Yeah. Yeah. That's a bit tricky too. Let's have a look. Can I scroll down? So 6. We have this circle. Let's find the centre and the radius. So that will be x minus 2 squared minus 4 plus y minus 2 squared minus 4 equals 8. So that is x minus 2 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 4 squared. Yeah? So where's the centre of this circle? It's at this point here. Here. And the radius? It's 4. So actually it's going to... yeah, it's going to be quite a large circle. And the question is, what is the minimum vertical distance between the circle and the line y equals minus 3? So here's the line, here's the line y equals minus 3. And the smallest distance happens right here, right at the bottom of the circle. It's kind of hard for me to draw, but the circle is like this. So the question was just a difficult way of asking what this distance is. Now, if this distance here is 2, and this distance here is 4, and this distance here is 3, okay, so if that means that distance here is 2, so then this one has to be 1, is the answer. This is made a lot more difficult because you're not given a graph. That's really what makes it difficult. So that is answer B. Okay. What else now? Which paper? Which question? 10. Yeah. Right. We have x, y, and we make a triangle. Find the area of the triangle bounded between the y-axis and the line y equals x minus 1 and y equals 1 minus x. Okay. So y equals x minus 1. When x is 0, y is minus 1. And when y is 0, x is 1. So that line will be 0 minus 1 and then 1, 0. So that's that line. Okay, and then the other one is y equals 1 minus x. When x is 0, y is 1, and when y is 0, x is 1. So that's a 1, that's a 1, and that now is also a 1. So we have this line here. I know these are lines, by the way. Okay, so the question is, what's the area of the triangle we've just made? How big is it from here to here? 2, because that's a 1. And how big is it from here to here? 1. And if I do this, dun 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 dun, a half the base by the height. A half the base by the height gives me 1. Whoa. Yeah. Yeah. What's next? Say there's time for one more. Make it a good one. Sample C question 10. 10. Where's 10? Okay, let's have a look. Right, R and D are shown on this diagram. And which statement is true? I'll try and draw this. X, Y. And we have this here. How big is it to here? This is minus a half. And to here is a half. And then we have a circle up here. What's the center of the circle? 2 and 1. And what would you say the radius is a half, isn't it? Okay, so let's have a look at the statements. Which are true? There could be more than one answer. Statement A. That's D, isn't it? And that's R. They're saying the equation of the circle is x minus 1 squared plus y minus 2 squared less than or equal to a half squared. That is wrong, only because they mixed up the x and the y. The x should be 2 and the y here should be 1. So that is false. B. X minus y is less than or equal to 1.5 in the OR. So what they're saying here is the distance between x and y is always smaller than 1.5. That's false as well, because I could pick a point. Now the graph isn't very clear. I think it stops here. Let's see if I can pick an easy one to show you why this is false. Okay, here's a very simple example. So suppose I say x is 100 and y is 98.5. What's the difference between x and y? Is it 1.5? Yeah. It's 1.5, isn't it? But is this point inside this region? No, of course not. It's like way up here. Okay, so this one also has to be false. It doesn't match up with the picture. C. X must be smaller than or equal to a half, and y must be smaller than or equal to 1. Well, that is true, because you can see that the x is in between 0.5s, and the y's are also in between 1 and minus 1. So actually this one is true. D. D is going to be false. Again, we can do the same trick that we did in B. Look. I could pick a really big X and a really big Y. Yes? But make sure that their differences here, it's still false within being 0.5 different. This one's false because I can pick fake XY numbers that just don't fit into the box. E is true. That's actually the right equation for the circle. So it's going to be C and E. Yes, that was a good one to finish on. When's your exam? Friday. What time will you be finished the maths at? Like, what's the time on your timetable?